Hello, my name is Mary Ann Barnett, and I am the transition coordinator for the Wisconsin Educational Services Program for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Outreach. Today, I have the privilege of interviewing a new friend, Justine Kaempfer, who comes to us from the Green Bay Packers organization. Justine, I'm going to let you introduce yourself a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me today. My name is Justine, and I'm the programming assistant for the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame. And so I work a lot with our programming initiatives, our guest speakers, our educational programming, our specialty tours, all kinds of things.
And how long have you worked for the Green Bay Packers organization?
This past January, I've been here 5 years. I started out as the curatorial intern, so I was working with our collections management and developing our exhibits and working with artifacts. And then I moved into this position about 4 years ago.
Well, a colleague of mine at the Wisconsin School for the Deaf forwarded an email to me with all the information about Green and Gold Day. Can you talk a little bit about Green and Gold Day?
Yeah, so we have been hosting our Green and Gold Career Day for about 3 years now. Before COVID, it was in person, and so we would have several schools and students come to Lambeau Field and listen to speakers from a variety of our departments. And they would talk about their background, what they went to school for, how they got into their position, and what kinds of things that they do within the organization to support both the business side of the team as well as the football operations side of the team. And because of the pandemic, we've had to take it virtual. And so now we are offering these experiences online for free. So there are 6 departments that we have recordings for, and you can go ahead and watch their presentations online to learn a little bit more about careers in the NFL that are off the football field.
It's all perfect. I didn't realize that there even was a Green and Gold Day, although I am married to and have a child who are Packer, the support members. What's the word when you have purchased the piece of the Packers where you're an owner?
Oh, an owner. One of our shareholders.
I don't know whether I never shared an email address or if they do or don't, but that email surprised me. And I thought, well, many youth across Wisconsin are interested in the Green Bay Packers. And I didn't know what Green and Gold Career Day was, but the title of it intrigued me. So I had clicked on the link and I watched all 6 of your videos, and they're set up very similar to how this series is set up, this job fair series. I do the introductions, but then I let the people who are talking about their business or their agency talk about their business or their agency. So you and I have a little bit of similar job positions with the video making part of this whole COVID go virtual world.
Yeah.
But I loved your 6 videos, and I had hoped that we could share them. But as you and I spoke on the phone, we can't share them open and forever because neither one of us also have free open public viewing. I had to have a permission to get into your Green and Gold videos, much like our viewers have to have a way to get into our outreach videos. So just a little bit of security, a security layer, so they're not just opened for the public everywhere. Can you talk about the 6 different departments that you were able to video for your Green and Gold Career Day?
So in the past, we've had a large variety of departments come and speak to the students. We kind of narrowed it down based on departments that we have requests for most often. So we have videos for our brand and marketing department, our IT department. Let me double check here, make sure I catch them all. Community outreach, human resources, public affairs, and sales and development. So it's a good kind of insight into a good portion of the organization. But there's, you know, a lot that goes into running the business, running football operations, running the stadium. And then we also have the addition of the Titletown district, you know, that is adjacent to the Packers organization. And so we work closely with them as well. So we picked those 6 because we thought it was at least a good starting point.
When I watched the 6 different videos, the similar theme that I noticed throughout is that each of the people that spoke, and you mentioned it yourself, all sounded like you started out as interns. There might have been one exception, but everyone sounded like they started out as an intern. So talk about how you are able to get in as an intern with the Green Bay Packer organization.
So we're fortunate in a lot of ways to have a really strong internship program. It can be difficult to get into professional sports as a business. And so the really best way to do that is to somehow kind of get in at the ground level and make connections for networking. And so regardless of what area of the organization you work in, there's internships for just about every department. And so you kind of work within that department, make some networking connections, and then move from there. There aren't a lot of interns who are able to stay with the Packers organization. People in permanent positions tend to stay here for a long time and enjoy their job with the Packers. And so there aren't typically a lot of openings, but a lot of them end up either with another NFL team or in some form of professional sports somewhere else.
How would a person who was interested in an internship, how would they apply?
So the vast majority of our job postings are posted right on packers.com on the website for hiring. There's also a couple of hiring websites like teamwork.com, I think is what it's called. And even when we have our positions open for our part-time staff in the Hall of Fame to work in like customer service, those positions go on there as well. So that teamwork is particularly sport focused, and but all of our positions are primarily posted on packers.com.
Does the Packer organization typically hire youth for part-time work during the summer or during the whole year?
We do have quite a bit of seasonal employment. So we're starting to hit what would typically be our busy season, both here in the Hall of Fame, as well as guest services and our pro shop. And so midsummer through the season is our busy period, and we hire a lot of seasonal employees. And especially for our desk staff and the pro shop, there are a lot of opportunities for kids in high school and college to get their foot in the door and work for the Packers organization in some capacity.
And to apply for those jobs also, you would go through the main website.
That's correct.
Fabulous. To your knowledge, has the Packer organization hired deaf, hard of hearing, or deafblind youth?
That's a very good question. I'm not familiar with any hirings of that kind, but I don't see why not.
Love it. You'd also have to live in the Green Bay area because I'm sure any of those part-time jobs are on-site positions.
Yeah, they are. We've had a lot of opportunities in other departments. I know there are a few interns who are working virtually because we aren't technically at, full back to work status yet. Um, but as far as the truly part-time positions are concerned, they are on site. And so it's preferable that you live in the area um, so that it's easy for you to make it to work.
Do you have a success story or a fun story that you can share with us about somebody who either interned there or worked there that you could share?
Sure. I mean, my own story, it was, a great opportunity. I knew I wanted to work in sports museums, and I'm from the Milwaukee area. So working for the Packers was kind of a dream situation. And getting hired as an intern was a really incredible experience. And the fact that I've been able to stay is even better. Um, as far as some of the other, part-time people, we had a social media intern last year who worked with us for about 2 years. And she technically was employed by our digital department, but was kind of our liaison to social media and helped me run our accounts. And she ended up getting hired to do social media for NASCAR. So not necessarily staying within the organization, but getting a really great opportunity in the sports market.
Fabulous. The good news is that you are going to be able to share the links to those 6 videos with us. But the bad news is that there's a deadline date. You want to talk about that deadline?
Yep. So like you mentioned, we aren't able to have it be truly public. And that also means that we have kind of a window of time where we can offer those videos. So the deadline for that, those videos will be closed on June 4th. So you're more than welcome to watch them as many times as you would like between now and June 4th. We just need whoever wants to see them to register so that we can then send you the link to access those videos.
And we will have that link that you're talking about available for our students to register when they watch this video. And in addition, this is the year 2021. So what happens after June? Will there be a Green and Gold Day virtual or live next year for summer or spring 2022?
Ideally, we'll be back to in-person in the fall. It's still, up in the air. We want to make sure that everyone is safe, our visitors and our staff. So I think we'll plan to host it in the fall in person, but we can always pivot to virtual if that becomes necessary. And so that information typically goes out in early fall. Those programs have been hosted usually in late October or early November, and they'll be on our website. And you can also be added to our email list, both on the registration page for Green and Gold Career Day. We also have that link at the bottom of the page with the videos to make sure that you get those notifications when that information has been finalized.
Perfect. So we can, the youth and their families, their teachers can watch these videos from now until June 4th. And then the 6 links will be taken down. This particular video will still be there with you and I with this interview, but the links will be down. But the youth could then go on to the Packers website to find out about future Green and Gold day or virtual opportunities, and they could get the information more directly that way?
Correct. We
Got it.
also post it on our social media accounts. So if you're following the Packers Hall of Fame on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, you'll typically see it there as well.
Perfect. Do you have any words of advice for youth who would like to apply for either one of these part-time seasonal positions, or for a high school or college student who would be interested in a potential internship? Any words of advice or wisdom?
I think one thing is it's great to get started early. So if you get hired even just as part-time seasonal work here in the Hall of Fame or in the pro shop, it's a great opportunity to get your foot in the door and see what it's like to work in the sports organization. The other part is there may be opportunities for you to volunteer in some capacity. You know, whatever experience and connections that you can gain and make, those will benefit you in the end. So putting yourself out there might be a little scary, but you have to do it if you're gonna try and make it in the sports world, because it's a lot smaller than you think it is. The organization is about 250 full-time employees, but the NFL as a whole is really interconnected. And so there's a lot of opportunities once you are kind of get your foot in the door.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for your time and for this information and for being able to share these videos. I hope that they get lots of views and lots of hits, and we get somebody working up for the Green Bay Packer organization. That would be great.
That would be
Thanks
great.
again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you very much.